Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Somnis. I'm the principal here at Sherman County Schools. First of all, I just want to thank everybody for the last couple of months plus enduring this amazingly historic time that we're in with the pandemic going on. I know everybody has been working hard and doing what they can to be safe and healthy here over the last 2.5, 3 months. This is the opening to our 2019-2020 academic and awards ceremony. Normally we would do this at the end of the school year in the gymnasium. If you remember last year, we started something a little bit different. We had a little bigger program, a little more at the end of the year. But this is what that's going to be, and we're hoping we can acknowledge everybody in a real positive way here on this recording. So again, similar to what we've done in the past, the teachers will be giving out their academic awards for the year. The coaches will be giving out their athletic awards for the year, and then we'll have the special awards toward the end. So we hope you enjoy this recording. I wanted to thank everybody who helps make the year possible: the teachers, students, parents, Booster Club, Athletic Foundation, anybody who really helps make the school run. And is supportive with our students and our athletes and our parents and all the volunteer work that goes on throughout the year at this school. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our teachers and our coaches, and we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. So our first presenter in this recording will be Mr. Swenson with Ag Awards.
Earning and receiving an award recognizes one for their accomplishments and work ethic, dedication, and outstanding performance in a work area. I'm fortunate to be in a position to teach highly applicable classes that give the students opportunities to apply what they learn in class to their lives. The students I've chosen today have done just that. They've taken what they've learned in class and have directly applied it to their lives outside of high school. Let's go on and get on with the awards. The first award is the Shop Monkey Award. It goes to a student in technical industry skills that has shown outstanding commitment to their work in the shop, has displayed perseverance, which has led to outstanding and impressive improvement over the class. The Shop Monkey Award goes to Corbin Ashley. The Star Ag Student Award goes to a student in Introduction to Agriculture that has shown growth, enthusiasm, excitement for their future in agriculture and FFA. The student also maintained an impressive consistency with Google Meets and distance learning. Being one of the most active members of the class, active in FFA events, the Star Ag Student goes to Cadence Smith. The Financial Guru Award goes to a student in personal finance that demonstrated in financial literacy and the improvement and implementation of practiced skills throughout the class. The student was also eagerly engaged in each and every discussion and led the class on to deeper thinking through different conversation starters. The Financial Guru Award goes to Owen Christensen. The Gearhead Award goes to a pair of students in small engines class that seemed to get every engine they've touched to work. Even when an engine didn't work the first time, they used diagnostic techniques and dove in and tore that engine apart until they found what was wrong. They worked efficiently as a group and accomplished much. The Gearhead Award goes to Grace Poyer and Allie Marker. The Star Ag Leader Award goes to a student in agriculture leadership that demonstrated noteworthy improvement, potential for leadership, and growth overall, all while adding a sense of humor in the mix. The Star Ag Leader goes to Jed Harrison. The Employee of the Term goes to a student in career development class that took every opportunity to improve personally and professionally. They committed themselves to the tasks and responsibilities of the class, meeting numerous times on Google Meets to improve their quality of assignments to make themselves more hireable in the future. The Employee of the Term goes to Daisy Brown. The Vet Tech Award goes to a student in veterinary science that eagerly engaged in each lesson and had no problem getting their hands on or in any of tasks that we did in class, whether that be dissections, animal behavior videos, or distance learning assignments. The Vet Tech Award goes to Lindsay Jones. The Ag Star student for Agriculture 2 was a very difficult class to choose one student to receive the award in. Each person in the class made substantial improvements, contributed to the class in a very unique way, and stepped up in their own manner as a leadership role in the class at different times throughout the class. It was an absolutely awesome class to teach. The person chosen, however, displayed ambition in their classwork and actively engaged in FFA events beyond expectation. The Star Ag student for Agriculture 2 is Will James. It's been a pleasure working with each and every one of you. I wish I could give more awards, but I'm going to limit to one or a pair of awards for each student of the class. Before I end this video and recognition, I would like to just commend all the students for their extra commitment and dedication through the distance learning time. It was challenging for each and every one of us, but I am genuinely impressed by the way each one stepped up in their own way to do the best they could through this time of distance learning. So thank you for that. It was an awesome year, and I look forward to a great year next year.
Thank you, Mr. Swenson. And now for the music awards, Mr. Gronberg.
Hi, this is my award for the 9 to 12 concert band. This year it goes to Jonathan Burgess. Jonathan, you did a great job. You made the All-State band, first trombone. You were accepted to the university. You helped me fix all those instruments, and you're just a great student all year. Congratulations, sir. Keep up the good work. And the rest of you, have a great summer. Bye.
And now for the high school English awards, Mr. Zacharias.
Welcome to the grade 9 through 12 English Academic Awards for 2019-20. Generally, 2 awards have been given in English, Outstanding and Most Outstanding. Really, the distinction between the 2 ultimately comes who had the higher grade percentage at the time that the awards were due. But more importantly, the criteria that I used for giving these awards involve the effort, the questioning that the student has done, the evidence of reviewing, and the evidence of redoing to not be satisfied with whatever innate, natural, or what their past educational background allows them to do just naturally on their own. I'm looking for somebody who's trying to become a more actualized human being through their educational experience than just somebody getting by on what their talent already is. I do have some special awards. One class in particular, I look for students who have made noticeable improvement over the past during the course of this year. And in one class ended up with 3 individuals who I thought tied for most improved. And then there is one additional special award. So we begin with the 9th graders, and for our outstanding English student, and largely it's on her being also the most improved. Morgan Greery is the outstanding English 9 student for 2019-20, based on the fact that she has made just a dramatic change in her approach to class, to following the classroom protocols, to encouraging others around her, her questioning, and her performance. Notably, 2 things. When we did our gamified literary analysis competition reading the memoir Night during the 3rd quarter, she tied along with our next awardee for the championship, essentially being 100 points above what the next tiered point earners were. And she has lifted her grade level mark by 2 levels during the course of this year over what she has historically done. So for Outstanding English 9 student for 2019-20, I'm pleased to award Morgan Greery. The most outstanding English 9 student is Natalie Martin. As indicated, she was the other student during our gamification competition who was what identified as the co-champion with over 100 points more than the next tier. But Natalie also goes above and beyond by seeking out and wanting additional work. And so one of the projects that I gave her was to take a retired educator from the Bend area, take her written relaxation program that she uses in schools, and to turn it into a slide presentation that this lady could use to do her presentations. She was so impressed by what Natalie did that she has shared the news around to other people that we mutually know in Central Oregon. And so within that group of people, Natalie is now famous for her slide presentation. So the most outstanding English 9 student of 1920, Natalie Martin. English 10. So this was the class in which I identified 3 individuals who I felt tied for most improved. And so the first of these most improved of 2019-20 is Allie Marker, who has gone from just oftentimes being so defeatist and negative about her academic abilities that it's really impeded her efforts to try or to perform. And she's gone now to a position where she may have self-doubts, but she just keeps coming back with questions, and she just does her best. And the result has been a whole grade level higher average performance of what she's doing in terms of her results than what she's done in the past. So one of our tied individuals for English 10 most improved 2019-20, Allie Marker. The next most improved tie for English 10 2019-20, Daisy Brown. Probably one of the biggest improvements that Daisy has made is in just her approach to class being more serious and her encouraging others around her to take a more serious approach. But by establishing really some goals and questioning and asking for help in pursuit of maintaining those goals, that's been another noted aspect of her improvement. And so Daisy has actually gone from a common level of performance in the past. She's gone now 2 grade level marks up from what she had been doing before. So one of the most improved for 2019-20 in English 10, Daisy Brown. The final tied for most improved in English 10, 2019-20, Dylan Stanfield. Dylan knows we've talked over the last couple of years about how, at least I felt his potential athletically in basketball, in his leadership of other people, and obviously in his academic performance. It was much higher than that when he was demonstrating. And whatever self-doubts he may have had, he began definitely to overcome this year. And it was seen on the court, and it's been seen in class in terms of his influence on those around him, his seating choices, and his academic performance. He shares with Daisy the distinction of seeing his grade mark average increase by 2 levels over his previous performance in English 10. So for most improved, one of the 3 tires for 2019-20, Dylan Stanfield. The final special award tonight in English 10 specifically is Tanisha Baker for her depth and thoroughness. I have no other student who responds to prompts with so consistently, definitely a full paragraph and often longer. And if I give worksheets in which there's a space allowed, she will undoubtedly take up the space, plus she will have to go and use some places in the margin, both on the side and the bottom, maybe even the top, to extend her answer to its completeness. And it's well worth reading all of the answer. She often will throw in even one of her special drawings often, which even makes it more interesting and more worthwhile to make sure you've examined the whole piece of work. So in recognition of those efforts, I've awarded the Special Depth and Thoroughness Award for English 10, 2019-20 to Nisha Baker. Our outstanding student for English 10 is for 2019-20 is Emma Robbins. Emma's consistency in her approach to class, her influence on those around her, both to encourage their performance as well as to help them, is commendable. Her willingness to take advice, but yet be her own person and make her own decisions in how she revises essays is just outstanding and shows incredible maturity. So for the outstanding English 10 student of 2019-20, Miss Emma Robbins. The outstanding English 10 student for 2019-20 is Aurora Baker. She possesses all of the things that I've just talked about in terms of Emma. And the only really distinction here is that at the time of this award, she did have a higher percentage in the class. So for the most outstanding English 10 student of 2019-20, Aurora Baker. Moving on to English 11, the outstanding English 11 student of 2019-20, Miss Lillian Woods. Lily is incredibly thoughtful, and she asks appropriate questions, even challenging ones, and again takes feedback and uses it in her own independent way, weighing the balance, and produces work that is generally from her own thoughtfulness and perspective in an insightful way. So for outstanding English 11 student, 2019-20, Lillian Woods. The most outstanding English 11 student of 2019-20 is awarded to Lindsay Jones. Lindsay, again, consistent effort all the time, works with those around her to help and try to promote their learning. But what is probably most important about Lindsay is that she might not be talented in all her disciplines of learning at school. And so some of them she finds way more difficult naturally than others. But that doesn't cause her to be discouraged in not putting out the effort that's necessary to make sure that she's maintaining a high level across all of those disciplines. So much so that she's been known to stay home on certain nights when there's a fun extracurricular activity going on at school, because she's wanting to make sure that she gets her homework done or that she's prepared for that test the next day, rather than risking the fact that by going out and having fun, she won't get that homework done or she won't be prepared. So for most outstanding English 11 student of 2019-20, Lindsay Jones. The seniors in English 12. So the outstanding English student, again, it is sort of also the most improved English 12 student, Angel Olea. Angel has gone over the last couple of years from really not being able to function in literary analysis, English language arts independently, really needing to have constant supervision and help, has gone to this year really being able to be much more independent and produce his own work, do his own research, when we did our mythology project and engage equally with his partner in developing the outcome materials. So for this improvement really over the last couple of years and for his ability to exercise independent work this year in English 12, the outstanding English student of 2019-20 goes to Angel Olea. Our last award tonight is for the most outstanding English 12 student, Miss Catherine Rhodes. Remember that the criteria that I talked about at the beginning had to do with what you do in terms of your effort, your focus, your questioning, your willingness to take feedback, that you go beyond what you naturally can do. And so I think the best evidence of this is that Catherine has consistently over the last year raised her grade level mark by 1 full grade over what she has done in the past, but that she turned in an essay that was a third quarter essay after March 13th and really after she knew that she really didn't need to turn it in, but she turned it in because she felt that she owed it to me. So for the outstanding, most outstanding English student in English 12 for 2019-20, Catherine Rhodes. To all of my students and especially to these awardees, thank you for allowing me to be part of your growth this year. And I wish you certainly all the best into the future. And of course, you know where I am and how to contact me. So I will always be here to help you into the future. Goodbye.
Thank you, English teachers. Now for the math awards, Mr. Casper and Mrs. von Borstel.
As I begin the presentation of the Math Awards, I would like you to know that the principal benefit of math is the development of lifelong problem-solving skills of generalizing, reasoning, classifying, and analyzing. The different levels of math courses we offer is a way for students to fill their toolboxes with the tools necessary to build those skills. The following students have demonstrated a high degree of understanding not only the math skills, but what it takes to build those skills, even through the change in programs that we have recently gone through. You must have that growth mindset, the responsibility to get the work done on time, ask questions for understanding, and learn from your mistakes. This year's recipients of the Academic Achievement in Algebra 1 go to Natalie Martin and Steele Green. For the Geometry course, Aurora Baker. Algebra 2, the beginning of advanced mathematics, dealing with quadratic functions and inequalities, polynomial functions, trigonometric functions, and graphing, which is so time-consuming for them. Emma Robbins and Gil Witherspoon. The recipient for the Academic Achievement in Pre-Calculus goes to Alyssa Hill. The recipient of the Academic Achievement in Calculus goes to Ellie Stone. We have one student that has taken math courses all 4 years of high school, including some advanced courses. The 4-year Advanced Math Award goes to Ellie Stone. And finally, the Outstanding Math Student for 2019-2020 school year, completing up through AP Calculus, Ellie Stone. Congratulations to each of these recipients, and remember, learning is a lifelong process. Keep up the great work.
Mrs. von Borstel here. I have 2 awards for excellence in financial algebra. The first goes to Nisha Baker. Nisha is a very detail-oriented person, and she regularly asks clarifying questions to make sure that she's understanding what I'm saying. And she is always willing to look at her work, and if it's not correct, she will erase and revise and complete her work over again. And I really appreciate your perseverance, Nisha. Good job. Erin Wolf is the second recipient of the Excellence in Financial Algebra Award. Erin also puts in the time and effort needed to get her work correct and is willing to revise. And I appreciate that Erin is always focused on getting her math done in class. Even if there are distractions around her, she focuses and puts all her effort into getting her math done in class, and I really appreciate that. Good job, Erin.
Thank you, math teachers. And now for the Social Studies Awards, Mr. Stuart.
Hello, students, parents, and staff of Sherman County. I'm going to be presenting the 2020 High School Awards for Social Studies, and all of the awards are named after either famous people in U.S. history or after famous historians. So before I start, though, I want to first thank Patty Burnett for her selfless patronage of these awards. These last couple of years, she's been such a blessing to our class, and she has her help has made it possible for us to have books to go along with the awards. And some of those books have arrived, so I'm going to show those ones when they are appropriate to the award. The other books are on their way, and so they will go out to the students. You just won't be able to see them quite yet. So here we go. We're going to start with the first award. This is the second year I've done this award. It's the Margot Lee Shetterly Award. She's the awesome historian behind the book Hidden Figures that's been turned into a movie. And our recipient this year of this award is receiving this award for the incredible work that she has put in as the hidden figure behind the history through gamification class. And she probably is laughing right now because she knows who she is. This award is being awarded to Emma Witherspoon, who helped to push the boundaries of what was possible in gamification or game-based approaches to learning. Thank you so much. Here we are. Her book is on its way. It's coming. Once it gets here, it'll go out to her. Our second award is the Doris Kearns Goodwin Award. An amazing historian, first became famous with the book on Lincoln that was turned into a movie on him of the same name. And the Doris Kearns Goodwin Award is being awarded to this young man, Owen Christensen, for demonstrating a keen appreciation of historical and political themes. You're awesome, Owen. I'm gonna miss having you in class, miss you sharing your thoughts, especially in American government and international relations. It was a lot of fun having you. Here we are, Owen Christensen, Doris Kearns Goodwin Award, and his book has arrived, so here it is, and you get to enjoy it once you get it to your house there. Thanks, Owen. All right, the third award is named after one of America's most famous historians, the David McCullough Award. I've lost track of how many amazing books this author and historian has written. It's being presented to Aurora Baker for a clear, consistent, and disciplined willingness to figuratively go to new places in her learning. She is an amazing young lady who puts in a lot of time and effort and always seems to push herself, and I'm really, really proud of her. So, the David McCullough Award to Aurora Baker. Well done. And her book is also here. It's The Greater Journey by David McCullough. It's actually a fantastic little book about Americans that went to Paris and what they learned and experienced. Enjoy, Aurora. This next award is it's an award named after one of America's best historians on the subject of World War I, the Edward G. Lengel Award, who, interestingly enough, he's actually a relative of one of America's most famous World War I veterans, Alvin York. Anyway, this award is being awarded to Will James for his incredible growth and reflective interaction as he pursued a deeper understanding of World War I. Did an incredible job teasing out, perusing, trying to go deeper into what was causing different moments in the war to turn out the way they did. It was really impressive, the growth that he was showing. So congratulations, Will James, the Edward G. Lengel Award, and for 2020. And when your book arrives, we'll get it out to you. The book he's receiving, though, is called To Conquer Hell. If you're curious of looking it up, it's a fantastic book. Okay, the next award is connected to a previous one. It's the first time I've ever used this award. It's the Alvin C. York Award. C stands for Colum, by the way. Anyway, being awarded to Joseph Ramos for a consistent enthusiasm for history and a willingness to find edifying historical figures to use as examples for one's own life. Congratulations, Joseph. The Alvin C. York Award. He's receiving a biography of Alvin York that's just come out. Look, it's a really good biography. Okay, this next award is the Joseph Nye Jr. Award. Joseph Nye is the best political analyst of the United States and arguably of the world. He's considered probably one of the top 100 most important people in this world in terms of understanding politics and things like that. This award, the Joseph Nye Jr. Award, is being presented to Catherine Rhodes for her consistent interest in the nuances of how nations relate to each other in international relations. Well done, Catherine. So here is the Joseph Nye Jr. Award. And she's receiving a book that he just put out not too long ago called Do Morals Matter? Don't worry, he argues for them. Anyway, congratulations, Catherine. This next award is put out by one of my favorite historians of all time. Hugely appreciate this historian. Sadly, she passed on about 30 years ago now. This is the Barbara Tuchman Award, one of the few historians to receive the Pulitzer Prize twice, as if it's not enough once. Anyway, it's being awarded to Lindsay Jones for her passionate interest in the subject in a specific historical era. So the Barbara Tuchman Award to Lindsay Jones. Awesome job, Lindsay. And she is receiving what I would argue is Tuchman's best work. And it looks tiny, but it's a powerful punch. The Guns of August. Congrats. And thanks for all your hard work, Lindsay. The last award this year is an award that's being awarded for the first time. I've never used this award before. But I always try and match up the awards with the students, the character traits that the students are showing with certain traits from the historian or famous person in history. So if you're wondering what the rationale is for these, that is the rationale. All right, this last award is the Robert Bartlett Award. He's actually not an American. He's the first foreign historian I've used. He's an Englishman out of Oxford and a fantastic scholar. And it is being awarded to Kobe Berry for his keen awareness of a specific time period. He really seemed to connect, especially when we were going through the Middle Ages. So the Robert Bartlett Award is being awarded to Kobe Berry. Congratulations, Kobe. Your book is also on its way. And you should be receiving it soon. It's a book that has to do with the Middle Ages. And anyway, enjoy. Thank you all for your time and your patience as I went through these awards, and I hope you all have a great summer.
Thank you, Mr. Stuart. And now for the Spanish awards, Mrs. Gunderson.
Hola a todos, me da mucho gusto estar aquí con todos en este día. Tengo algunos certificados para algunos de mis estudiantes de este año. It's my pleasure to be here with all of you today. I've got a couple of certificates for my Spanish students this year. I'm going to start with Spanish 1 and then move on to Spanish 2. So I want to start by saying I miss you all, and I'm sorry that we didn't get to end the year together. Some of you all I'm looking forward to very much seeing you in the fall. My Spanish 2, I'm sorry that we didn't get to end the year because it was such a great year with you. So I thank you for that. First of all, I have an award in Spanish 1. I'm calling it the Excellent Linguist Award. This person has gone above and beyond. She's been at nearly every class meeting. Even though she doesn't have questions, she has been my help when I've been trying to get some tech to work. She tries it out for me and gives me feedback. super cheerful, super helpful, super talented in language, has a good ear for it. My Excellent Linguist Award in Spanish 1 goes to Cadence Ursula Smith. So good job, Cadence, and thank you so much for all your help. My second award in Spanish 1 goes to a student who's quiet but working hard behind the scenes. She asks questions, emails me, wants to stay up and make sure that I'm getting her work, and she advocates for herself. She asks questions. She is working hard, and I notice it. So the Excellent Work Ethic Award for Spanish 1 this year goes to Morgan Maria Geary. Gracias, Maria. So that's my Spanish 1 awards. Moving on to Spanish 2, I've got one award. I'm calling it the Excellent Linguist Award. He is helpful. He works hard. He's got an excellent ear for languages. He puts connections together with English and Spanish, and he's just all around a good thinker. My Excellent Linguist Award in Spanish 2 goes to Jonathan David Burgess. Gracias, David. My next award in Spanish 2 is Excellent Work Ethic Award, and this person is excellent academic student. She understands Spanish, she remembers things, she helps people, she goes above and beyond, is working behind the scenes, always getting her assignments done from the beginning of the year till now while we're in stay-at-home. My Excellent Work Ethic in Spanish 2 goes to Emma Daniela Robbins. Gracias, Daniela. My final award in Spanish 2 this year is to a person who is not only an excellent student, but an excellent person. She's kind, she is helpful, she's smart, she expresses herself very clearly. I ask her help and in other classes with students, and she is generous to help me with whatever I need. And that is just all around excellent student, goes to Aurora Amelia Baker. Gracias, Amelia. I really appreciate you. And to all my students, all the Huskies out there that have been taking Spanish, I can't wait to see you in the fall. I hope you have an excellent summer. And thank you so much for all your work this year. I really appreciate it. Adios todos.
Thank you, Mrs. Gunderson. And now for the Science Awards, Mr. Dearborn.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Huskies. This is Mr. Dearborn, and I'm here to present to you the High School Science Awards for 2020. The first awards I have to present are for academic excellence. In my classes, academic excellence means that students are working hard, they're working to meet expectations, they participate regularly, they're positive about class and with their classmates, and just all around excellence really, but I like to specifically focus on the fact that they are academically excellent as well. So to start out, we have Callie Johnson for academic excellence in biology. She's really earned this award this year. She's been a great classroom leader as well as a school leader. She's taken a lot on her shoulders for an underclassman. She's done an amazing job, and she hasn't let her role as student body president affect her classwork, other than that she's spent a lot of time making things up, but she's always sure to make sure everything is in by the appropriate due dates and that everything is done well. So Callie, great job. The next award I have is academic excellence in physical science. That goes to Gil Witherspoon. Gil's done a great job in class this year. Physical science has a very heavy mathematic requirements, and Gil and a few other classmates were able to meet those and lead the rest of the class for student authorized learning. They really did a great job, and especially Gil, he even with his knowledge in math, there were still struggles with the material content, and he got it down. So great job, Gil. In STEM, my academic excellence goes to an excellent engineer, Will James. His designs, plans, etc., were all well done. It was really impressive to see the way that he could create a in-depth plan, an in-depth design, a really detailed one, without making a design so detailed or so outside of the box that it wasn't achievable. So great job, Will. The next award is for academic excellence in chemistry, and that goes to Jed Harrison. While I did have a few students who stuck with chemistry throughout the year, Jed was the one who most regularly applied himself, and he really took the class seriously. He fought every step of the way to keep the class at the collegiate level, and I really appreciate that. He worked really, really hard to earn his grade in that class, and to continue outputting excellent work even after the class moved back down to a high school level during second semester. So great job, Jed, and I hope you keep it up. The last award for academic excellence is a general science award for Lillian Woods. Lillian was really interested in just all things science, whether it was magnets, electricity, chemical reactions, or rocks, volcanoes. It really didn't matter what we were studying, what we were talking about. She was interested across the board, and I really appreciated that. She also applied herself really consistently, and her work was always done on time, if not well before the time. It was impressive and well done. So she really deserved the academic excellence in all science. Great job, Lillian. The last category I'm presenting on are unique awards. One of these 4 awards was an award I gave last year, and it's an award I'll give every year. The other 3 are new to this year, either because of new classes or because of a student who stood out in a particular way that I felt needed to be recognized. The first of these awards is the Charles Darwin Award, which goes to Wyatt Owens in biology. This award's called the Charles Darwin Award because it basically stands for the growth of an individual outside of what basically his previously known state was. So Wyatt's always done his work, gotten it done well, but he really, a few times this year, just stood out as an excellent academic student. And to me, that shows growth, adaptation, and the potential for evolution. So I felt that this award needed to happen and that Wyatt was the one who deserved it. So great job, Wyatt. Please keep it up. I want to see you become the awesome academic I know you can be. The next award is the Growing Einstein Award. Now, this is a physical science award. This was achieved by Brett Wilson. Brett was always willing to talk about pretty much every physics concept in depth and very outside the box, but not in such an outside the box way that he left scientific principles behind. So for that reason, I felt Brett Wilson deserved the Growing Einstein Award. Great job, Brett. In my volcanology class, my STEM class basically all carried over to volcanology with a few exceptions. And one student who really stood out in volcanology versus his original path in the STEM class was Patrick Ramos. The reason I called this award Valiant Volcanologist was 1, the alliteration, but 2, he really was brave this semester in stepping outside of his comfort zones and really working hard on every assignment, even after we moved away from the classroom and into digital learning. I was thoroughly impressed by Patrick, and he severely underestimates his capabilities. He's a very intelligent young man, and I hope that he takes this award seriously and realizes that I recognize that he pushed himself and he put himself out there when he didn't usually, and that's something that deserves an award and recognition. So great job, Patrick. I hope you keep it up. The last award I have to give is Effortful Excellence. And this is in general science, and this is for Lindsay Jones. Lindsay had her fair share of challenges this year, and one of those was taking chemistry, and the other was some physical pain when it came to walking. And some is a understatement. And she wasn't sure she was going to continue in the STEM class through volcanology, especially given that it was a field science with the pain that she was going through. But she decided to stick with it, and her decision was an academic one. I was really impressed by the responsibility of that decision, but what I was more impressed by was the fact that every single field lab we did, Lindsay was there for. Every single field lab she walked every step of the way. Every single field lab she did not complain. And every single field lab she did amazing work. And that is something that shows the amount of effort she was putting in outside of that class as well. And I was thoroughly impressed, and she deserved an award for her effortful excellence. Great job, Lindsay, and I hope you're feeling better. That pretty much concludes my high school science awards. Great job, Huskies. You're all amazing, and please keep it up. Stay safe and be well.
Thank you, Mr. Dearborn. And now for the Physical Education Awards, Mr. Lewis.
Hello, everyone. Mr. Lewis here. This is about take 10 of this virtual meeting stuff. It's my pleasure to present to you the Physical Education and Weights and Conditioning Students of the Year. These awards are given to the student who demonstrate the best overall work ethic and attitude when they come into class. And not only do they work to make themselves better, but they set the example or push their classmates to become better themselves. And I'm excited to present the following students for these awards. First of all, a young lady that just came in, even though she works and does all kinds of other stuff outside of school, came in tired half the time, but worked hard every day, and just loved having her in class. Miss Dea Ballesteros. For the outstanding male, same thing. Sometimes I think he walked down to the locker room to change sleeping. But first period's a tough time sometimes for high school kids. This young man would come out, and I just really loved the way he worked with his classmates and competed and just had a great attitude. Mr. Tim DePape. Thanks, Tim, for all your work. In the weight room, we had two students that I felt just kind of rose above everyone else. And the last part of the year, right before we went out on our little hiatus here, this young lady was just really getting after it. And I just really enjoyed watching her work. And as the last half of her career comes along, or the last 3 years of her high school career come along, I am excited to see where she goes. Miss Natalie Martin. And on the boys' side, a young man that was in weights last year as well as the first term this year, and he was one that pushed me, and that's when it really catches your attention, when you've got somebody that you can work out with at times and they're pushing you. And I just really appreciate his work ethic and his assistance in the class, Mr. Darian Davis. There's my awards for PE and health or strength and conditioning. and I hope you guys are all safe out there. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Seniors, tough way to end your year, but find a way to be positive. Take care. Bye.
And now for the health awards, Mrs. Miller.
Hi, Sherman County community. Thanks for being here. This is Mrs. Miller, and I have the health awards. For Health 1, I was out maternity leave, and Mr. Lewis took over my class. He selected Morgan Geary for being respectable and having such a strong work ethic. Nice job, Morgan. For my Health 2 class this year, I chose 2 students. The first, Aurora Baker, for being so insightful and raising the bar with every assignment she completes. She has an excellent work ethic, and she's always very thorough. Nice job. For my second student, I chose Daisy Brown for being incredibly hardworking, putting herself out there, and trying to grow and become her best possible self. I'm really excited to see where these 2 students go. Hope everyone has a really safe summer and a good end to the school year. I know it's been difficult, but we're really proud of you. Nice job, everybody. We'll see you in September. Bye.
And now, here's Mrs. Von Borstel with Theater Arts and Leadership.
I have 4 awards for leadership. The first goes to Jordan Barrett. Jordan is a competent, trustworthy person, and she's always willing to help out. And even though I think she'd rather be behind the scenes sometimes, she's always willing to step up and do whatever is asked of her. And I really appreciate all that you did for our school community. Nick Riggs gets the next leadership award. Nick likes to get things done. He is not a procrastinator, at least not when it comes to leadership class. He always has fun activities for us to do, and he completes all of his work with accuracy, and he gets it done right away. Thanks, Nick. Alyssa Hill gets the next leadership award. Alyssa is full of great ideas, and she's enthusiastic and willing to help out where she's needed. I really appreciate her and how she gets everything done with poise and confidence. And I am so glad that I finally got to have you in class this year, Alyssa. And my last leadership award goes to Marcus Henriksen. Marcus is a caring, compassionate person. Marcus is always there when somebody needs to help with something. He's there just to listen. And he is a good example of how to be a caring human being. And I have appreciated having all of you in class, and I'll miss you. And now for the Theater Arts Awards. The first Theater Arts Award goes to Emily Lewis. She gets the Adventurous Participant Award. Emily is a good listener and a good speaker, and she puts those skills to use. I appreciate that she's always willing to be bold and try new things in class and to put herself out there. Good job, Emily. The next Theater Arts Award goes to David Romero. David gets the Impromptu King Award because David thrives on spontaneity. If there's an assignment that I give in class where I allow the students 2 or 3 minutes or even perhaps a whole day to think about what they're going to do, how they're going to perform, David almost always would ask, "Can I just do it now?" Okay, and so he does, and usually it is quite a performance, entertaining, and always well delivered. So we appreciate that. Thanks, David. And the last Theater Arts Award goes to Cadence Smith, and it is the Dedicated Theater Arts Student Award. Cadence is always a willing participant, willing to volunteer and try new things, and also when we were preparing for our play, Cadence took the time to memorize all of her lines early on so that she could work on perfecting her acting skills, and it paid off. Good job, Cadence. Thank you for all you did.
And now it's my pleasure to announce the Student of the Quarters for the entire school year. For the high school, during quarter 1, Daisy Brown and Kobe Berry. For quarter 2, Catherine Rhodes and Owen Christensen. Quarter 3, Morgan Geary and Dylan Stanfield. And in quarter 4, Angel Olay and Lindsey Jones. Congratulations. For our special awards for football this year, I'd like to say that the boys did a great job. They had a real good season, and looking forward to watching how the boys progress next year in six-man football. This year's Mr. Hustle Award goes to a student who had a great year, who played on both sides of the ball, was our leading tackler on the defense, and a guy that has a great motor and 2 more years left with the Sherman County football program, and that's Gil Witherspoon. Our next award is our most improved player. This was a player who, from the start of the year to the end of the year, made a drastic improvement in the way he played in the form of basically getting more aggressive, more confident, and knowing that he was as good as anybody on the field. I've told people that I thought that we probably had the best 3 quarterbacks in six-man football on one team, and this guy was one of them. He was only a freshman last year, has 3 great years left, is going to have a great athletic career at Sherman County High School, and really had just an awesome end of the football season, and that's Cole Martin. And for our most inspirational award, this goes to a player who is just a real good all-around athlete. All the kids look up to him. When the lights go on, boy, he puts on a show. He's quite a player. He had a game of over 300 yards rushing earlier in the year and is real good on the defensive side. Most inspirational player of the year award goes to Wade Fields. And just wanted to let everybody know that these awards are voted on by the players. The players are the ones that vote for these 3 awards, and I thought they were all well-deserved. I just want to say good luck to the boys next year. I'll be watching from afar, and wish everybody the best of luck. Thank you. And now, here's Mrs. Gorham with volleyball.
Hello, I am Carissa Gorham. I'm the head varsity volleyball coach at Sherman County High School, and I am here today to present some awards to you. I just wanted to start out by saying thank you to the faculty and everybody that are putting this together. I think it's great that we're giving these athletes the recognition that they deserve. They work so hard all season, and they really do feel like they deserve this recognition. Being a high school athlete takes dedication, ambition, and hard work. They learn the values of discipline, teamwork, and the importance of a good attitude. With that being said, here are our participation award winners. Emily Lesh, Morgan Geary, Catherine Rhodes, Cadence Smith, Emma Robbins, Aurora Baker, and Steele Green. Our letter award winners are Jalen Jessison, Mercedes Cardona, Isabella Montesanti, Daisanique Brown, Callie Johnson, Alyssa Hill, Michaela McNabb, Ellie Stone, Natalie Martin, and our manager, Allie Marker. The girls voted on individual awards, and these are who they went to. Miss Hustle went to Daisanique Brown. Most inspirational went to Ellie Stone, and the most improved went to Aurora Baker. So those are all well-deserving recipients of those awards. And then we did have one athlete be recognized on the first team all-league team, and that was Jalen Jessison. I just want to say congratulations for all of your accomplishments this year, girls, and I'm really looking forward to next season. So thank you very much and have a good summer.
Thank you, Mrs. Gorham. And now for boys basketball, Mr. Lewis.
Hi, everybody. Coach Lewis here, and I get to talk to you a little bit today about our high school basketball team for this year. And if truth be known, this is about take 12, and I've just decided I'm going to power through this. This is a whole lot easier when you do this live rather than this video, whatever the heck it is. Anyway, I'm an old guy. I've been around. This is my 40th year working with high school kids. And I just want to say that it's such a joy to be able to do that. And this team this year was no exception. Before we get to that, I do want to do a few quick thank yous, and to Mr. Owens and Mr. Somnis for all their support this year for our program. The girls coaching staff, Steve Bird and Lori Parashow, they are so easy to work with when we have to share facilities all the time and travel together. The Booster Club, you guys and ladies just do such an awesome job, and we can't thank you enough for all your support. The pep band, Mr. Gronberg, what an outstanding band, and I just enjoy when you're at our games. I hope we'll see you there this fall or this winter again. And then my staff, Bill Martin, Ethan Moore, and Luke Martin this year. Our success only comes when you have good people around you. And it is just a pleasure to work with these guys every day. And I look forward to going to practice. For the book this year, Jill Harrison, it's so nice to have somebody there that you can count on, can handle it. And Jill, thank you so much for all that you do for not only just in keeping the book, but for our program. Bert Parashow, the other half of the Parashow duo, for running our clock night in and night out. And certainly last and not least, the parents and the athletes. Parents, we demand a lot out of your sons, and I thank you for allowing me to coach them, sometimes yell at them, sometimes get frustrated with them, but I so appreciate your support. And for the athletes, for our players, your willingness to come in and do what we ask and play hard and practice hard and work in the off season. Not only are those great skills that will take you further in life, but I just thank you because the success of Sherman High basketball doesn't happen unless you put the work into it. I'll talk a little bit more about the season and the recap here in a second, but for right now, I would like to introduce our JV players this year that are going to be the future of Sherman basketball. And I'm excited for these young men. A lot of growth. Sometimes they don't get as much court time practice-wise as the varsity guys, but they hung in there this year. I saw a lot of improvement in these young men, and I'm looking forward. I was hoping we'd be preparing for our summer season, but that's still way up in the air. And so you guys are going to have to work hard on your own to get ourselves ready for next winter. Hopefully we're playing that. So these are the young men that played on our JV this year. First one that I want to introduce is Mr. Cade Von Borstel, one of our post kids. And I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to grow and to keep working hard out there on the court. Young wing player that's a darn good shooter, we just got to get him a little quicker, is Tyler Ward Burnett. And a couple of young men that are really going to help us in the future. This next fellow, I think, is right on the verge of really taking some big steps forward, and I think he'll be a big help to us on the varsity level this year if he continues to work hard, and that is Austin Olson. Another young man we're expecting big things out of because this guy can just flat play defense, and I wished everybody had his motor. He just doesn't know the word slow, and sometimes that gets him in a little bit of trouble when he has the ball. But Mr. Gil Witherspoon, we're looking forward to having him around next year to help us at that varsity level. And then a young man who transferred away from us that was quite a young fella. I just grew to really admire him. He's got some challenges that he faced, but it was great to have him around. And unfortunately, he went to one of the enemy schools right after the season. But I have to recognize Mr. Nate Watney. We also had a couple other players that played on the JV team for us, and I will talk about them as we get into our varsity players. Just a quick recap of our season at the varsity level. It was somewhat of a roller coaster year, and it was really strange this year not playing in a state tournament. Sherman High School has had quite an unprecedented run, 5 straight years to Baker, and you just don't see schools do that very often. And so we were a little disappointed that we didn't get back there this year. Not a little, we were probably a lot disappointed we didn't get back there this year. I didn't quite know what to do with myself, and I think a lot of the kids, it was the same way when that first week of March rolled around. But when you put 5 years in a row like that, you become the target for everybody else. Even though it's different kids and it's a different team, everybody's gunning for you. And that was definitely the case this year. We had an extremely difficult schedule. If you look at the teams that actually made it to Baker City this year, 4 of the 8 teams we had on our schedule. And that doesn't count some other ranked teams that didn't make it to Baker. So, I was proud of the way we competed this year, even though we had some days I wondered what we were doing, but some days we just played phenomenal basketball. And so we saw a lot of growth in the kids, and we saw a lot of growth in the team. One of the beauties of team sports is that you get the opportunity to face challenges and face adversity, both individually and collectively as a team. And we certainly had our share of that this year, from the typical things you run into, injuries and sometimes some eligibility issues, but and sometimes just personalities that just don't mix or clash. And I harken back to a time in mid-season where things weren't going very well, and I had a rather dictatorial meeting with the kids in which, I pretty much just put it out there. And basically it was get together, or go home. And I was really proud of the way these guys responded to that. Not because I said any great words, but because as young men, they put their differences aside and got after it. And that's a skill that will help them down the road. And as a result of that positive response, we had a good, strong finish to our year. Well, without further ado, because I know these videos and coaches can get pretty long-winded, let me talk a little bit about our kids. And that's what we should be here honoring. And first off is a young man who played some JV ball for us, suited with us on varsity, and every practice we had, he was there. And he's just a freshman. We need him to grow and get stronger. But I think you're going to have fun watching this kid for the next 3 years, and that's Eduardo Rubio Garcia. Another freshman this year that we really had to step up for us. And, when you put a young kid, sometimes even into the starting lineup as a freshman, that's a real challenge. And sometimes you have to, just accept that they're going to make some mistakes due to their inexperience. But this kid is going to be something else to watch for the next 3 years. And I'm so excited to get the opportunity to watch that growth and to watch him blossom into the player that I really think he's going to become. He's a tenacious defender and another young man that just has an endless motor, Mr. Cole Martin. This next fellow also played JV for us, but again, as with Eduardo, he was at every practice. He always worked hard. I want to get him a little more, light a fire under him a little bit more because he's so laid back. But at the same time, he's got a great little mid-range game. I really am excited to see what he can do for us at the next level. And hopefully he'll continue to work hard, get stronger, get more aggressive out there. And I think you're going to see some good things from this young man this next winter. That's Mr. Dylan Stanfield. This next young man we get to have back next year. He got off to a very slow start this year in terms of coming off a football injury. He's been with our varsity now for 2 years and has really, actually probably 3, but actually he can play just about anywhere. He has an amazing amount of talent, a little bit like Dylan, sometimes a little too laid back. I'd like to light a fire under him a little bit more as well. But he ended up, despite coming to us a little late due to the injuries, he ended up being our leading scorer in terms of points per game. Never really got into the shooting groove that he probably, and we probably hoped he would. But I think next year you're going to see him really step up and be one of the leaders of this team, and that's Wade Fields. By the way, Wade was selected by the coaches as honorable mention. He just missed second team by just a couple of votes. So looking forward to having him back next year. Another big fella that has stepped in, became a starter for us. This guy, I'm sure his parents just sometimes shake their head, just like I did in practice and in games. This guy's a competitor, and he's so fun to coach, but sometimes you just shake your head. But you always shake your head with a smile on your face because he just loves life, and I love being around him. It's been a pleasure to coach him, and looking forward to see what he can do his senior year. Mr. Jed Harrison. And by the way, Jed was our second leading rebounder this year. Of course, at 6'5", he ought to be. Another young man who is a little on the laid-back side at times too, but this kid really has some good footwork. And if he will really dedicate himself, I think he's going to be one of the surprises of the league next year. Dedicates himself to both classroom and to the basketball court. He's a big, strong kid, and again, one of those kind of laid-back guys. But what a weapon he's going to be for us, and he's going to have to be because we're not very big next year. But this guy, we need him on the floor to be successful next year. Mr. Will James. Another young man that I saw a lot of growth in this year. Had to step in some really tough situations. He played JV for us. He played several minutes in a lot of our basketball games at the varsity level. I'm partial to him because he's a southpaw. Everybody should be a southpaw, but he's a good shooter. His biggest thing right now is he just has to have confidence in that shot. And I'm looking forward to seeing a really good year from this kid next year. And really be able to step up and take on some leadership role for us next year. Mr. Patrick Ramos. Now, the young guys that we don't get to see anymore. It's always tough to say goodbye to the seniors. And it is, this year's a really weird one. We don't get to say our normal goodbyes. But you make the best of a bad situation. And these guys, I know, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in their future, whether that's continuing to go on to school, whether that's going into the workforce. But this first young man only got to play 5 games for us. Ended up having to have surgery, season-ending surgery, and we really missed his motor on the floor this year. He's one that, like Gil, doesn't seem to have an off switch or a slow down switch. And, great to have such a positive kid to have around in practice. And we just really missed not only him as a player, but him as a person. That's Jeremy Ballesteros. This next young man, he's one of the coach's dream kids. He'll be the first to tell you he's probably not the most talented kid out there, but he works hard, and he has this incredible work ethic, incredible attitude, always wants to learn. I've had the pleasure of having him in class and coaching. When we ask him to step up and help in the post with the JV kids in order to get more minutes, it's absolutely, and that's tough to do when you're a senior sometimes. I'm sure he would love to have played a lot more at the varsity level. But, these kind of kids are few and far between. And I so admire this young man. He's going to go far in life. And that is Mr. Darian Davis. This next guy is kind of our mighty Mo. Works so hard, loves the game of basketball. He was our leading three-point shooter this year, playing mostly the off guard or our shooting guard. Literally shot us into 2 or 3 ball games this year just with his long-range shooting. And we probably don't have anybody in the program that gets more out of his physical stature than Mr. Nick Riggs. And I'm so proud to have been able to coach Nick. This next young man, he and I have had our headbutting contests, but I've seen a lot of growth in him. He had to step in to take over a leadership role and be our point guard. And he ended up leading our team in steals, in deflections, and in assists this year. He also was one that almost always had to take one of the toughest defensive assignments. And sometimes he was outsized. But I was really pleased, especially on the defensive end, about his willingness to step up and fulfill that role. We're a defensive-minded program, and that's very important for our success. Anyway, Mr. Luke Stone. And finally, our big guy in the middle. Quick story on Owen. When I first came to Sherman, I was the JV coach, and Owen was a freshman in high school. And I remember in a PE class in the fall, I'm watching him go against Treve and Jacob and some of those guys even before Wade's brother and all these guys and he's holding his own out there playing basketball on a couple of the days in our weights class when we let him go up in the gym. And I said to him one day, "Owen, I am so excited that I get to coach you this year in basketball." He looked at me and goes, "Oh, I don't play basketball." So I'm going, "You're 6'3". You can play with these guys. What do you mean you don't play basketball?" I just don't play. And it took me all that year to convince him to come out and play. And I said, "Come out and play in the summertime." I took over as the varsity coach that year, and I said, "Come out and play in the summer. If you don't like it, you don't have to turn out in the winter." But I'm so glad he liked it. And the growth in this young man, second leading scorer, he was our leading rebounder. He just missed first team, ended up being second team all league in the conference this year. And I just am really going to miss him and his efforts. Mr. Owen Christensen. Now just I've got 3 little quick special awards, and then I'm done. The first one is our Mr. Hustle Award, and this is one where you're looking for that kid that's got the motor and who just flat gets after it and doesn't know the meaning of I can't or I'm tired. He's just going to battle through this. And we had a few really good candidates for this, but as since I'm the head guy, I get to make the final decision on that this year. And the Mr. Hustle Award for the 2019-20 school year is Cole Martin. Pressure's on now, Cole. You have to see if you can win that 4 years in a row. Our most improved player. This could have gone to 2 or 3 fellows as well. This is one for a young man who, as I mentioned earlier, has some challenges to begin with in terms of just his overall size, but such a big heart and such a big willingness to, he won't back down. And I've watched this young fella come from a JV team JV player scrambling for minutes to being a key cog on our varsity team. And so most improved player for this year, Mr. Nick Riggs. And finally, one that I think is one of the most important awards is our most inspirational player. This is a young man that doesn't always have to be a rah-rah guy, but it can be somebody that just leads by example, puts the team first, just as one of those kids that you know you can count on him. You know that there's that he's coachable. You know that he's willing to do, that he'll run through a wall for you, to use an old cliche. And these are the kind of young men that make things go, whether that's on a team or whether that's in the workforce or whatever it may be. And our most inspirational player this year, Mr. Owen Christensen. Well, if you've had to sit through a long video of my ugly mug, I just want to thank everybody again for the season. Thank all you guys and families. I wished our younger players were getting ready for summer ball, but we'll see what we can do to get a little time in when it's safe to. And for you seniors, thank you again for all you've done for our program. And everybody out there, stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. And now for girls basketball, Coach Bird.
Hello, this is Steve Bird. I am the Sherman High Girls head basketball coach. And And this is the award ceremony. We had 9 girls. Morgan Geary, a freshman, was going to be a player, but kind of got a little bit of a head injury at the beginning of the season, and doctors just wouldn't let her play. We missed that. But she went ahead and stayed with us, and she became the manager and did a lot of the videos. So really appreciate that effort from Morgan. Caden Smith, another freshman. Caden's came into the season kind of wide-eyed, and she went out, played hard in practice, gave her all, and by the end of the season, she was out playing with a lot of kids older than her, and she was improving. And this improvement brought on a vote by the team that made her the most improved throughout the season, and it was a worthy honor. Another freshman, Natalie Martin, she led us in scoring, and always played hard on defense, always battled for the ball. She loves to play basketball. You can just tell. She's very, very fun to watch. Also was an all-league performer for us, honorable mention. Callie Johnson, sophomore. Callie came out she came out as a freshman and then decided to keep coming. Really, really happy to have her. She plays very, very hard. Always gives her all. Got her to shoot the basketball a little bit more. We're going to keep working on that as the season goes on. Next season, excuse me. I guess the season's over. Anyway, Callie was very good, put her in a lot of tough situations. Another good sophomore was Allie Marker. Allie had a great season. There was ups and downs, but Allie led us in scoring in many games near the end of the season and always in there battling for the rebound. She had a lot of rebounds, and she just kept battling. And that's just what she's got to do. She did get one vote for honorable mention, but that vote didn't get her to the honorable mention label. But at any rate, somebody out there was paying attention, and I think somebody out there pays attention to our team. We were tough. We were right on the edge of making things happen. Daisy Brown, she's our Ms. Hustle. Daisy just has a motor that keeps rolling. She doesn't stop. She just gives us her all. We really appreciate having Daisy, and we want her to shoot a little bit more. She was always in there battling against people bigger than her and didn't let that stop her bouncing off the ground here and there. Junior Mercedes Cordona. Mercedes is probably the best athlete that we have. She missed a few games, and when we didn't have her on the floor, it changed our defense. Her quickness affected the whole team because she can cover quite a little bit of ground, and that's something we're going forward to add a little bit of scoring and get her quickness on the floor. Junior Grace Poyer. Grace is she came out after skipping her sophomore year, and she played really hard. Thought we were going to have somebody that really could help us as the year went on, but she hurt her foot in Klamath, and that foot injury kind of hung with her for a long time. She had to stay off of it for a good month or month and a half, and then she came back because Joe said it was just something she was going to have to push through, and it was pretty painful. She kept doing things. She kept trying to make things work, but she sometimes you could just tell it wasn't, being out on the floor wasn't the best thing for her. Jalen Justison, that's our senior. Jalen always played hard, played with a big heart. She was second in scoring, first in rebounding. She was honorable mention all league. Always played hard. Really going to miss her and miss her effort. One thing that I miss for Grace Poyer, Grace was our most inspirational player. A lot of votes went around, and Grace got the most. There's a ton of people I need to thank. One most is Coach Lori Parashow. I don't know how I do this without her. She works her tail off. Well, thank you very much.
Our next awards are the OSA Award of Excellence. These awards go to one boy and one girl, 9 through 12, at the high school who display exemplary sportsmanship, ethics, and integrity at the varsity level. Both of these awards were chosen by the athletics department and by head coaches, and they're both great recipients to the award. This is one of the few awards that we have where underclassmen are eligible for these awards. The first award goes to a guy who is a former state champion. That kind of gives away who it is right out of the gate. Former state champion track and field athlete, had a real good senior season of basketball, participated in football in the past, great student, and going to do a great job at Oregon Tech next year with track and field. And the award of excellence goes to Owen Christensen. And on the girls' side, the award of excellence goes to a girl who is going to have a great career here at Sherman County, is just starting. She is a freshman who was a varsity athlete in both sports that she played this year, and obviously would have been a varsity athlete in track and field had we had a spring season. She's a girl that has natural leadership, good work ethic, and somebody that I know that our coaching staff is real excited to work with the next 3 years. Our award on the girls' side for the OSAA NFHS Award of Excellence is Natalie Martin. Congratulations. Is the Husky Scholar Athlete Award. This award is given only once to any junior or senior who has achieved a 3.5 GPA or better and has lettered in a sport. We have two for you in this program. The first one is a junior who was lettered in track and field and basketball, Jed Harrison. The second one is a student who has lettered in basketball and is our salutatorian in the senior class, Darian Davis. Congratulations. The next award is the Susie, Ron, and Don Scholarship that is chosen by the coaching staff at Sherman County High School. It is an honor and pleasure to present this year's Susie, Don, and Ron Thompson Memorial Scholarship Award to one of our young ladies. Ron Thompson lived in Sherman County all of his life. He took over the family farm. He loved stacking rocks, he was friends with everyone, and he loved every sport. His kids also grew up here. One son is living in Bend with his family. His oldest son resides in Grass Valley. Ron always had a sense of adventure, loved to travel, but Sherman has always been his home. Don Thompson spent much of his life calling Sherman County his home. He was a committed community member and a strong advocate for our school system. On August 1st, 2013, Don lost his battle with cancer. It was his desire to promote higher education by providing a portion of this scholarship to a deserving young lady like his daughter Susie. Susie grew up in Sherman County and graduated from Sherman County High School in 1972. With 3 months of graduation, Susie lost her life to leukemia. Susie is remembered for her friendliness, involvement, leadership, and athleticism. Her family awards a scholarship each year to the graduating senior letterwoman who best shares the same qualities Susie possessed: sportsmanship, determination, leadership, and competitive spirit. This year's recipient is a young woman who is lettered in varsity volleyball and tennis. This young woman will be receiving a $1,000 scholarship from the Susie, Don, and Ron Thompson Memorial Scholarship. And the winner is Alyssa Hill. It is truly a privilege and an honor to present the 2020 Jerry Du Bois Memorial Scholarship Award. Jerry attended Sherman High School in the 1970s before transferring to high school in Salem, where he unfortunately died during a football practice. He is remembered for his sense of humor and his love of sports. The Du Bois family is providing this scholarship to the senior letterman who was chosen by the coaching staff and best meets the following criteria: dedication, sportsmanship, determination, not afraid to associate with people, not afraid to do things with other people, enjoys other people and doesn't consider himself superior, not perfect, leadership, competitive spirit, ability, acceptance and helpful to younger people as well as his own age group, and who is lettered in a sport. This year's recipient is a senior who is a state champion in track and field and who has been a multi-year varsity basketball player as well as playing football when he was younger. The recipient of this year's Jerry Du Bois Memorial Scholarship for $150 is Owen Christensen. Congratulations. All right, thank you everybody for watching the Academic and Athletic Awards ceremony. Again, thank you for all that you've endured for the last 2.5, 3 months. We hope that we can see everybody in the fall. I just wanted to thank everybody, again, for the time that you put in with your children and the time that you've had to take at home in this amazing time. Again, thank you to all the coaches for presenting tonight. Thank you to all the teachers for presenting tonight. And I hope everybody has a great summer and be safe. Thank you.